Hello everyone, welcome back to Advent of Code 2020, day 21. Let's get started. Day 21, Allergen Assessment. You reach the train's last stop and the closest you can get to your vacation island without getting wet. There aren't even any boats here, but nothing can stop you now. You build a raft. You just need a few days' worth of food for your journey. You don't speak the local language, so you can't read any ingredients lists. However, sometimes allergens are listed in a language you do understand. You should be able to use this information to determine which ingredients contain which allergen, and work out which foods are safe to take with you on your trip. You start by compiling a list of foods, one food per line. Each line includes that food's ingredients list, followed by some or all of the allergens the food contains. Each allergen is found in exactly one ingredient. Each ingredient contains 0 or 1 allergen. Allergens aren't always marked. When they're listed, as in contains nuts, shellfish, after an ingredients list, the ingredient that contains each listed allergen will be somewhere in the corresponding ingredients list. However, even if an allergen isn't listed, the ingredient that contains that allergen could still be present. Maybe they forgot to label it, or it was labeled in a language you don't understand. So here's an example input. We're given like 4, for example, on this line 4, but it could be any number, of course, ingredients, and that we're told that there are at least 2 allergens present among them. The one that causes dairy and the one that causes fish. Or, not that causes dairy, but you know. The ingredient that is linked to dairy and the ingredient that is linked to fish, and so on. And there may be others, but definitely these 2. Right. So they explain all this. The first step is to determine which ingredients can't possibly contain any of the allergens in any food in your list. In the above example, none of these 4 ingredients can contain an allergen. Now, we can solve this by hand, which I did. So as often, I thought about this some. I was actually not sure if I was going to do a video for today's puzzle. It seemed like not that fun a problem, but not nearly as bad as yesterday, so I think I'll give it a try. So we can solve this by hand, and I did that sort of in my head a bit ago. It was yesterday. You might have noticed looking at the calendar that I'm doing this like almost. Tomorrow's puzzle is almost released when I'm starting this one, so when I last looked at this was sort of a while ago. But we noticed, for example, that this one of these 2 ingredients contains soy. And therefore, for example, we can conclude that these 2 definitely don't contain soy, and neither does this one, because they're not in this thing and it contains soy, and there's only one ingredient that can possibly cause soy, and it must be one of these 2. So like these don't contain soy. I'm trying to remember, like, for example, we'll start with the ones they show us here. TRH might contain dairy, but notice it's not listed in here, which is, I don't know why when I triple click it highlights the whole thing. Is that the code running some weird JavaScript that does that? Because normally a triple click selects only one line or a paragraph, right? And when there's line breaks, as there are here, well, I'm not sure. But importantly, look, it highlights these. My browser highlights these, and then there's a brief pause, and then it highlights the rest. I feel like there's some weird JavaScript going on that's expanding the selection for reasons I don't understand. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. I just was hoping to highlight a single line, and it's harder to do than I wanted. TRH can't contain dairy because it's listed in this first. It's not listed in this first list, which does contain dairy. And it can't contain soy because it's not in this list, or fish because it's not in this list. The only list it is in is this one, which contains dairy, but we know that it's not there. So we can conclude that none of these allergens are caused by TRH. And NHMS? Where the hell is that? It's here. So there's the same kind of like mutual exclusion between the two dairy lists. Anything that appears in only one of these can't contain dairy. Why am I... Is that even important? No. What am I saying? The fact that dairy appears twice is... It lets us conclude many things can't contain dairy, because they have to be listed in both of them. Anyway, so NHMS could be dairy or fish, but we look and there's a dairy label and a fish label, and neither of them contain NHMS. So, okay. I put some thought into like how to solve this. And the kind of most obvious first thing that occurred to me seemed like kind of a nuisance and not all that fun, which is why I was thinking like maybe I wouldn't do today. The idea would be to like set up a list of constraints from like, okay, the ingredient for dairy must be one of these four. Okay, that gets you somewhere. And then in the other direction, you could say, okay, this might contain dairy because it's in a list with dairy. And like here, this might contain soy because it's in a list with soy or whatever. And trying to figure out like managing those bi-directional dependencies is a little not obvious. It doesn't seem very clean, right? But what I thought some more about at least how to solve part 1, and I suspect it will get us part of the way to solving part 2, is to just work with dependencies in one direction. So begin by compiling a list of all the ingredients that exist and all of the allergens that exist. Then, for each allergen, have like a set of ingredients that it might be present in. This is kind of the same thing as having like an array of booleans or something. Like it definitely could be in this. For dairy could be in this, but not in the others. And so the important thing is to then, when you're looking at each food, not to like iterate over each of the ingredients in it and do anything with them, or even each of the, well, I guess we're kind of iterating over the ingredients, or even over, yeah. What we instead do is we iterate over all of the ingredients that are not in this dish, and mark them as definitely not containing whatever allergens are there. Right? And so here we could say, well, all right, it's a little hard to do by hand because like these are not easy words to remember, and which ones are present and are not present in a list is kind of a hard thing to come up with. But it should be easy for a computer. So we could say like TRH, FVJ, whatever, SBZZF. These all can't contain dairy or fish because they're not in this top list, right? So we could mark those off. Then we get here and we say, okay, what isn't in this one, etc. So that's the idea. So we're going to need what? Import data set as S, because we're going to want a set of ingredients and probably a set of allergens as well. We'll need like a map of allergens, but the value of that will be a set of something. So import qualified data map, probably strict is fine. And we're gonna need text regex. We'll need something to parse the inputs, and I mean, it's a simple enough input format that just like using nothing would be fine. But I think text regex applicative should be reasonably nice. So let's define some types. Ingredient is an ingredient wrapping a string. It'll probably need eek and ord, since we're going to be putting these things into sets as well. I'm using new types here just because like there's two different strings, and it would be two quite different ways to use strings, and it would be a little bit unpleasant to accidentally mix up which is which. And so just like putting them in a new type labels them so I can't mess them up, or at least so that there'll be more local evidence that I'm mixing them up, right? I can't just accidentally swap the order of parameters. I'll have to like destructure the parameters correctly, and then if I use the locals wrong, I'll have a problem. But that should be much harder to do. And we have like data food is a food of... Oh, of course I qualify this. So food, I think... Let's actually call this a dish, just like... because food and ingredient is a little easy for me to get mixed up in my head, and a dish is clearly like a set of ingredients. So we're going to contain a set of ingredient and a set of allergen. And I don't think this needs to derive anything but show. Okay, and so I believe our input then will be a list dish. And let's go ahead and parse that now. It should be pretty simple. We'll grab data maybes from just, which we'll be using in our parser again. There we go. Where dish is what exactly? It is a dish of many well, we'll be somewhat more verbose and therefore I think more clear in this case by putting as... I could do something like inline the definition of ingredients, and it wouldn't be that long, but I think it will be clearer if we just give it its own name and say a dish is just a dish of ingredients and allergens, right? Ingredients is basically just S from list F mapped over many, not many actually. Well, yeah, actually. Many ingredient. Ingredient is many of psim of not equal space, and then ignore a space. Here, let's open up the input so you guys can see, like, oh my god, look at this. These lists are insanely long. Okay. So the idea is, well, actually, are there any that contain no allergens? I guess we'll find out, huh? It doesn't look like there are, just like at a glance, but it's, you know, there's 445 of these. I'm not going to check them all by hand. So this parsing will fail if there's ever any like empty list of allergens, because this dangling space that I'm accepting would be not found. So actually, why don't I just say many sim of space? What's wrong with this? I assume that, like, well, I don't know what I've written wrong yet. We'll just keep writing and see if things resolve themselves. Allergens is probably s.from list of... Well, actually, it's a little more complicated because we have to ignore... Yeah, honestly, parsec would be better at this because it has stuff like set by. I kind of prefer using a regex because it's less powerful. But it has worse combinators built into it as well, which, oh well. So allergens is do, let's say. We'll ignore an open paren. Fine, it'll remind me to do that, I suppose. Actually, I don't know if it will. Let's find out. It did for when I was using parsec, but it didn't seem to when I was using applicative do, which is interesting. When we were using text regex applicative previously. So it's a sim of open. Oh, actually, how about string contains? I'm wondering if I should just like implement set by as a combinator that can be reused by ingredient, because ingredient is like a little bit messy anyway. Let's go ahead and do that. Set by datum sep, let's say, is do. We'll call it set by 1 because we have at least one. So we parse a single datum, and then we cons x onto the result of parsing many of sep ignored followed by datum. Is that right? Oh, that's pretty good. So now ingredient is just sep by, hang on, ingredients sep by sim space these are in the wrong order though. That's why. You're right. This is set by is usually written infix. That's why that makes more sense. Ingredients separated by spaces. And so an ingredient then is just this. Many non-space characters. And then we can say here, result, let's say, is sep. Oh, I call it sep by 1, whatever. Let's call it sep by. Is actually, you know what? Let's pull this out. Ingredient is just a token. Yeah, we don't need anything special for ingredients versus hang on, let me put this back. Token is this. Token, there we go. Token sep by string this. Okay, now everything is wrong here. Why? Because I did not remember to wrap my ingredients and my allergens in their new types. That's why. Okay. Well, in that case, maybe I will define a separate ingredient and token. I don't know. Let's put ingredients and allergens up at the top. And we'll say that ingredient is just that, and allergen is not allerged. The allerged assault took place. Anyway, I don't know. I don't know whose voice that was, but allerged, it sounds like a silly word. A weird way to pronounce alleged. And so here we'll use ingredient, and here, no. Where's allergens? Here it is. Wait, what did I do? I just like... I just... No, this makes sense. What did I get wrong? Oh, I forgot to wrap it in a set, didn't I? No, this is... It would be better to put it here, and then I can just use pure as previously, right? No instance for monad? Yeah, that's fine. Who cares? I see. Why does it think I need a monad for this? Applicative do is not smart enough to figure out what's happening. Okay, I'll write it by hand then. Rest then will be this. Pure of X rest. I guess that makes sense. I mean, the deal, I think, is that applicative do just basically says you may not use any of these things except in your final statement, which must be a call to pure. Like, fair enough. This is something we could have written... In principle, I think it could be smart enough to figure out that, oh, you're using fmap and that's safe, but I think it's a pretty tall task to ask it to get that right. I don't mind that it doesn't. Okay, and so then if we said that part one is just input to input, and it was identity. Where should we be? I should be in... Hang on. Okay, I want to be in day 21. So if I run this, it should all parse, right? Yeah. So we got a list of dishes. Uh-oh. Ingredient empty? That doesn't seem very good. All the dishes start with an empty ingredient. Huh. The allergens look okay? They do. So we said ingredients separated by space. I parsed... Oh. But what's going on. Ingredient is a token. I mean, I probably should just change many to some and I'll be fine. Some is many, but at least one. I'm just a little surprised that it doesn't default to like consuming as many as it can instead of as few. Huh. Is there some reason that once I do this, it no longer parses, and so it chose the interpretation that permits parsing? Yeah, that's what happened. So many would have been fine here. There's something else wrong. Why? In my set by, I parse a single datum. Oh, it's because I forgot, once I changed things, I forgot to add the extra space into this dish, right? I think I was planning to do that, but I didn't. In the input format, there's a space here that is not currently being handled by my parsing of dishes. And it figured out, the regex parser figured out, if I interpret many to be, oh, it starts with 0. No, it ends with a single ingredient here. It invented an ingredient in between the space and the parenthesis that's empty, and that's how it found a way to parse the extra space. Very clever, not what I meant. So now this should be fine. Did I get the parse order wrong? I hate this. Okay. So I was meant to do it here? Yeah, I don't know, man. I'll never understand what order the precedence of applicative operators. It just is it's set up so that it works right most of the time, and so I just use it, and then sometimes it's wrong. I'm like, I don't know. Mystery. Okay, this is better. It's a good thing, by the way, that space sorts before everything else and that sets display their stuff in sorted order, or I might not have noticed this problem and had a really tough day. Cool. So that looks good. I appreciate, by the way, that when Eric, I don't appreciate it, I just find it kind of amusing, that when Eric has to make up text for us, he chooses things that have like no vowels and have like a ton of very unusual consonants, which doesn't make for very plausible fake text, but also makes it much less likely that it's accidentally a swear word in some language you don't know. Okay, so there's our parser. A bit bigger than I thought it would be, honestly, but I think nicely broken apart, nicely separated. Okay. So actually, I suppose that our input should be more than that, right? We should provide the list of dishes, but we're also going to want to know all of the universe of ingredients and the universe of allergens, right? Part 1 and Part 2 could each calculate that, but I strongly suspect they will both need it. So we might as well do it and prepare. So let's define a cuisine, to be a cuisine of, first, a set of ingredient, a set of allergen, and a list of dish. Probably, honestly, this could be a set as well, but all I'm ever going to do is convert it to a list and iterate over it, so it might as well be. And our input then will actually be a cuisine, and we'll just throw in this. cuisine is a function from list of dish to cuisine. We want like we want to fold over the list of dishes, obviously. But it's always like kind of a nuisance to accumulate two things while folding. I don't like, call me crazy. Actually, you know what? Let's put the dish first. It'll be a little bit easier. I'm gonna do something that's like, I don't know, maybe a little bit needlessly fancy here. But I think we can do this with a fold map using a pair to accumulate stuff rather than a cuisine. So cuisine dishes is cuisine dishes, which we will uncurry over inputs. I don't know. Features. So my idea is that features will be a pair, a set of ingredient and a set of allergen. Where prepare is fold map you call food that's got like the pieces taken out of it like deconstructed, right? Not usually when you're looking at the ingredients list or whatever. You know, actually let's fold map recipe, sure. Over dishes. And recipe of dish. Oh, this is kind of funny. If I had just had my dish just be a pair, this would all come for free, I think. Ingredients allergens equals ingredients allergens? Is this correct? No. Allergens, yeah, very funny. And we called this why did I call this prepare? It was just like, it was over here and I typed it? Features. Yeah. You know, we don't even have to give this a name. It's so simple. Let's just inline it and then not worry about it. So the idea, we talked before about the monoid instance for tuples a little bit. Let's actually hop into a REPL real quick. Hang on, why are you upset about cuisine? Oh, our input is a single cuisine, I see. Oh wait, let's hop into the REPL real, oops, that's not the REPL. And ask, tell me about monoid, please. And monoid is, well, okay, yeah, we need semi-group. But okay, it has mempty and mappend. So monoid is the operation for combining things of the same type, yielding another element of the same type, combined with a couple laws about doing so. Namely that mappend should be associative. And I think that's the main law. Like there's an identity element, a binary composition operator, and it should be associative. It doesn't matter how you parenthesize it. And so in particular, if you have a monoid instance for two things, then a pair of those two things is also a monoid. So we can have like, you know, AB and 1, 2 This is an inline synonym for mappend. CD 3, 4. We get ABCD 1, 2, 3, 4. So it combines them pointwise. We say the left and is combined with the left, and the right is combined with the right. And fold map is a way of it's a fold that doesn't require you to specify the combination function exactly, right? It says if you have a way to turn elements of this list into some monoid, then I can turn each of them into a monoid and combine them with the monoid composition operator with mappend. And so this is actually a really nice way to transform things compared to like having to write fold R, for example, where you say, here's, I take an input and I combine it with the previous output with the rest of the output in the following way. You separate out how you combine your outputs and how you turn your inputs into your outputs when you use fold map. I mean, like, I don't know. Like, is it really nice? Is it really that important to have the dish be a separate type, because it means I have to write this stupid function to just say, oh, pretend it was a tuple all along. I could remove this and have dish be a type synonym for a pair of sets. But I kind of like giving it a name. You write code once, you read it many times, except in Advent of Code where you probably read it 0 times. But there are many viewers, so now you can see why I was writing it this way. Okay. So we've parsed now, and we have our cuisine, right? Actually, let's run it again and make sure that the cuisine looks nice. I assume it's just like... Actually, it'll give me an idea of like, okay, here's all the list of ingredients, right? Oh, I see. I put it first, and the reason I put it second earlier was so that the ingredients and allergens would print first when I was testing it. But then I moved the dish first so that I could just I could more comfortably write this. I don't know. I think this is actually like the most meaningful order as well. It just happens to be a little awkward for seeing. Okay, how many ingredients and allergens are there? The number of allergens is pretty small. It's like, this. And if we were to go up to the list of ingredients, it's like pretty large. Where does it start? Here? This is the list of all the ingredients, I think. Yeah. Anyway, so there's a lot of them, but not like a bazillion. And the number of allergens is quite small. So the idea was to then iterate through each dish for part 1. Yeah, let's just like write part 1. Equals something. We want to, like, I guess, a length of filter S empty over allergen info or something. At some point I'm going to have a map from allergen to set of ingredient, right? Hang on, this is not actually what I wanted, is it? Length.filter is not quite right. Because what I'm supposed to have done is figured out which allergens or which ingredients have no allergens, but then don't count those ingredients. Count how many times those ingredients appear in the dishes. So let's say length filter safe over concat map ingredients? No. Because I want a function named ingredients to call on each dish, right? Contents? I don't know. Over dishes. Where contents is easy to write. Contents of a dish. God, once again, this would be better if it were just a tuple, because I could just say first. Oh, but concat map isn't actually right, because I couldn't just say first. It would be like first composed with S from list, so this is fine, I guess. I's, A's is S from list I's. I have to extract. Well, no, hang on. I's is a list of it's a list of ingredient. I should be able to concat map that, right? Let's give this a type, see what I'm doing wrong here. Contents is a function from dish to list of ingredient, right? Okay, it just was inferring the wrong type because I wasn't finished writing safe. Interesting. So safe is the difficult part. Safe is a function from ingredient to bool. Right? Right. Safe is undefined. Well, yeah, we'll write it eventually. But anyway, that's the type that it has. What? I thought we said this all type checked, right? Okay, put a type back on this, I guess. Contents is a function from dish to ingredient, list of ingredient. Oh, because I told it I was returning an input. Okay. Actual type set of ingredient. Oh, it should be to list. There we go. I think I had. Did I have that wrong before, or did I have it? Okay. Ah. Okay. Now it all type checks. Fine. You're just mad that I haven't used these yet? Yeah, that's fine. I'll get to that. I think safe will just be like look something up in a map, basically. Sure. Well, I don't know. We'll just leave it undefined for now. Potential allergens is a function from, is a map from, well, wait, hang on. Do I really want to map? I was saying earlier when we were talking about how to solve this problem that I want to map from allergen to set of ingredient, right? So this isn't really potential allergens exactly. Potential causes? The map from allergen to set of ingredient. Okay. And potential causes is going to be some fold, right? We're going to build the map out of the allergens and dishes we were given. And then we're going to fold over the dishes to update it. Fold L prime, I guess? Fold L prime should be fine. Update of M from list of our keys are the allergens, so S2 list allergens, and the value for each should be repeat of S2 list ingredients. And finally, we're going to have to give it another argument, which is the dishes. We have to import fold L prime. Now we have to write update, of course. Update. By the way, will you tell me what type this is if I ask? I feel like that was one of the things I wanted to get going for this year was like type tolls. It doesn't seem to work here, which annoys me. It should be able to infer it from this, I would have thought. But okay, anyway, update is a function from this. And, oh, I don't need parentheses, I always forget. This has enough precedence or whatever to separate those apart. From set of ingredient to and rather a dish, and it gives me back another one of these. Boy, it sure would be nice to have a type for this, wouldn't it? I'm using it like 3 times already. Oh well. So are you gonna use a type toll for, do I get a type toll here? Yeah, so there's type tolls. Oh, right. So there's some separate extension to get partial type signatures, and then you get like whole-based help there, I think. Is it called partial type signatures? Haskell partial type signatures. A partial type signature is a type signature containing placeholders with a leading underscore. They are to signatures what type tolls are to expressions. So if you turn it on like so, let's try it. Does it work? Yeah. So if I had said update has unknown type, update equals a hole. Now? Yeah, so it says I found a hole. No? I don't totally understand how I was supposed to use this. Oh, if I have to give it a name here, and then it'll tell me what type. Found hole. Yeah, that doesn't really help. It's a little annoying, actually. Well, if I said stack run, does it tell me here? I think it does. So first, there's actually some errors here. M from list is applied to 2 arguments. Yeah, I forgot to zip stuff together. We'll get to that. Oh, maybe that's why nothing is working. Is because so hang on. Haskell data map strict. There's some way to say like set all the values the same when you're initializing a list, right? Construction. From set. Oh, interesting. I wouldn't have thought of that. Well, that's what I have. I have a set, right? So, and each, I can just use const of the value I expect to be there. So that's actually better. M.from set, and the keys are allergens. And we put this first. Hang on, what? Not there. Here. Oh, not to list. Just the ingredients, thank you. I don't need... I made some blunder. Okay, that parenthesis needs to go. There we go. Okay, I still don't know how it... Oh, so now that I've done that, can I get help about the types of my partial type here? No. I don't know why. I thought the whole point of partial typed integers was that it would tell me. Huh. Okay, well, whatever. So if I do this, it gives me the correct whole, which is not a surprise, obviously. Look at all these. Valid whole fits include. What exactly, how much is that telling me? I knew about relevant bindings. So it says, here's a whole, here's the type of the expression you should write to fill that in. Valid. Oh yeah, you could just use const. You could use all kinds of things. That's kind of funny. But in fact, I want to say update of M and dish I's A's equal this, and so now we have our whole has a new type. Actually, hang on. Is how do I get Emacs to show me more details about that? Right? That's exactly. I want to look at this, but I don't want to have to leave Emacs, right? So, oops, it's not the buffer I meant to go to. Hello, I'm just dumb. Here we go. That's how you switch buffers. So if I looked at fly check error messages, I can get the same information. Although this is like not the most recent version of my code. What? I mean, this is right. I don't know why fly check error messages is giving me lame stuff. But anyway, it says, oh, you need to build a map. Here's some stuff you have in scope that helps. Here's some ways you could build maps. You know, empty. I love that it gives you actual valid whole fits. Anyway, we don't actually need much help with that at the moment, I think. It's just like a really, oops. It's a really, I think, a really cool way to, if you're writing a function that is very closely guided by its types, that doesn't have any like weird computations in it, you're just like trying to massage one type into another and do maybe a couple things to it, you fold over it or something. It can really, if you're writing very polymorphic functions, is maybe a better way to put it. It really helps a lot. because the set of things you could do with something is very small, and you can just ask the compiler, like, what's legal to do here? Oh yeah, now you'll give it to me. Oh, I see. Fly check error messages is only stuff that I'm mousing over. When I say compile, I get just in the mini buffer like one line of what's wrong. I see. Okay. So anyway, here's this hole. And it should be pretty simple. We will we want to, for each allergen in the dish. No. For each allergen not in the dish, we wish to remove all of the ingredients here from the map. So what do we have in data map for, like, we want to fmap something over a list, right? I mean, I guess, like, I was thinking that we would first look at the set of ingredients that we have, and do like a set difference with the ingredients in this dish, or allergens, or whatever. But actually, I think we can just do like a, traversal or something. We can just map with key and just look at the key and say, is the allergen we're looking at listed in the dish? If so, leave it alone. If not, change it, right? So I think we want to map with key this thing. Yeah. m.map with key. And our function that we want to map, I'm sort of unclear on. We'll just call it remove, let's say. Over m, where remove. So if I put a hole here, it tells me what type it should have, is that right? No. I'm a little annoyed about that. I thought it would figure it out from the fact that I'm using it here, what type it must have. Anyway, remove our, what order does it takes? The key and then the A and then the B. So remove I, that's the, no, allergens are the key in this set, in this map. I's, the list of ingredients that might, not I's, possible links if S member A's equals, just leave the existing possible links alone, otherwise equal S difference, I think, from possible links I's. Does that seem right? Why am I being warned about this? Defined but not used. Ah, it's used in safe. Okay, well, what about update? Update is used. It's used right here. Right? Is it actually, like, smart enough to tell me? Hang on. Okay. Is it actually smart enough to say, well, you didn't use potential causes, and update is only used by potential causes, so you didn't use updates? So what if I just said, like, if I do this? Yeah, it does. That's pretty cool. And notice that update was dead code because potential causes is dead code. Okay. So now safe should be really simple, right? I've already got a map from allergen to set of ingredient, and I can just say, do all of the allergens not contain that? I don't know. I should really build a set of the ingredients that are safe. And what's the best way to do that from what I have? Because I have a map from allergen to set of ingredient. And I want to, like, reverse that, right? There's not something weird in data map that lets you, like, flip something around in a way, is there? You would expect that to be in, like, conversion to a map or something. I don't think so. Well, actually, construction from set might be interesting. I don't know. It's like a simple operation, but I just, like, can't somehow think of the right way to do it. Let's just say safe is S member of safe ingredients, where safe ingredients is we'll start with the universe of all ingredients, and then we'll just subtract from that every element. Yes, I was thinking of it the wrong way. I was thinking of, like, how do you build up a list of safe ingredients by iterating over this map's keys, and it was kind of awkward. But if you start with all ingredients and just remove the ones that are present in any, that should be pretty simple, I think. S difference ingredients and dangerous ingredients. Dangerous ingredients is just we're fold mapping again, right? Fold map. No. We're just saying M concat of M elem's potential causes? Yeah. Okay, something's a little wrong here. I have a set of sets. Well, that's not right. So it concluded the wrong type for something here, which is pretty reasonable. So elms, it does return just the values. It returns a list of them. Okay, let's put some type signatures on. Dangerous ingredients. I intend this to be a set of ingredient. Am I right? Am I right about that, or am I wrong? I'm wrong. Oh, ingredient. There you go. So I'm right about that. But it still thinks I have a set of ingredient. Okay, I intended for safe ingredients to be also a set of ingredient. You still think it is. Do I have S members arguments in the wrong order or something? Member. Oh, I do. That's what's wrong. We'll just do this then. Okay, very funny. It type checks, and I feel like what I did was relatively like non-dangerous, and so the odds of it being correct are high-ish, I think. Yeah, 2,546? Oh, right. That's not how many safe ingredients there are, but how many times the safe ingredients appear. Sure, that seems plausible. It's too high, though. Too high. Okay. Which ingredients can't possibly contain any of the allergens? Okay. So let's run it on the test input. I assume we'll get that wrong. It'll be easier to tell what was wrong. Oops. And it returned 10. Is that correct? Well, it didn't choose all of them. That's good news. The result was supposed to have been 5, though. But we didn't hit all the foods, right? There's 13 total. I concluded that only one of them is dangerous? That doesn't seem right. Okay, well, I mean, we can just debug this by like printing something else instead. We'll get rid of the type signature here, and what it actually was. You know what? Let's just put this in the where clause as well, and call it num safe ingredients. There you go. And instead of num safe ingredients, we'll just return safe ingredients. You know what? Let's return potential causes first. It's only the test input. It should be small enough that we can understand it. So dairy could be in any of these things. These 1, 2, 3 things. Fish could be in any of these 2 things. And soy can't be in anything. Okay. I mean, that seems plausible. let's actually just return both of these things. Safe. I don't actually have access to safe ingredients. It's in a, it's hidden away in this where clause. Fine. I kind of feel like it should be, it should be hidden, but okay, I want to debug it, so here we are. I made some mistake. Safe potential causes? That's not really what I meant. Okay. So which did you conclude were safe? Safe ingredients were Fujikal, Sabuvov, and Sajik. Which Fujikal. So this is not what we're being told would be the right answer by the puzzle statement. Fujikal is not listed and let's see. Kufkudus? Do we have Kufkudus? We don't. So I was supposed to conclude that Kufkudus can't contain an allergen from this input. But actually, I said it might contain fish. But the number I got is too high, which is like, yes, this is a problem, but it's not what's causing my current incorrect answer. When I fix one bug, this will be the second bug, right? So why is it then? I mean, this is like absolutely insane, right? I concluded that soy can't be, nothing can contain soy. There's no reason that I could possibly have concluded that, is there? Because there's one dish that contains two ingredients, and either of them could be soy, right? I didn't do anything clever like combine information from two different dishes. So something is wrong here for sure. Let's make yet another input. And this will be A and B contains A. Okay. And let's just run that. It should tell me both of them might contain A, right? Hang on. Am I just misinterpreting how I printed this thing? So we said that A might be an A or B, and there are no safe ingredients. Right? That seems right. So just remind me, did this actually return the right thing and I just misunderstood it? No, I think I understood this correctly. It still thinks for some reason nothing could have soy in it. That's very weird. So, I mean, this I guess uniquely solves and shouldn't have anything safe, right? because the ingredient A clearly contains C. I know I've labeled them. I've given them bad names, but that's all right. And C clearly must contain B. And that means that B must contain A, right? What? This output is insane. Did I not save? I didn't save. Okay. So it says, all right, A is definitely contained specifically in B. B is definitely contained specifically in C. And C is not contained in anything. What? It's right here. It's in A. C is not contained. Oh. No, you're right. Because if... No, it doesn't have to be labeled, right? Oh, am I forgetting the fact that it doesn't have to be labeled necessarily? It could be not labeled. So for every... No, for every allergen... Okay, this is just an illegal input to the problem is the thing. So if I made this like D, for example... yeah, so now it says C definitely contains D. A is in one of A or B, we don't know which, and B... Okay. Contains... It's in either... It's in definitely C. So we can clarify between A and B by saying, like, DA contains C. And then we will discover, oh... Wait, does this clarify? Not really. If I put an A here... No, I don't know. God, I'm so bad at this. So it's like a kind of complicated thing to keep my head around for some reason. So if we said DA, one of these contains C. And definitely nothing else does. Well, this didn't help at all, right? So what I need is something else that can contain A. And then don't list B in it, right? So AC. Now we can tell that the thing with A in it must be specifically A, right? Because it's the only thing that appears in both of these lists, yeah. So it's concluded that C is safe, which is obviously bonkers. And it hasn't concluded the correct thing. Well, I mean, okay, in fairness, this part makes sense. C must be safe because it says that the allergen containing C can't be contained in anything. The problem is that, like, obviously that's wrong. Okay, so I think the problem is my update function is doing something wrong. Unsurprising, right? It's the whole complicated part of the entire program. So I think I just, like, misremembered what is going on. I think, yeah, I'm looking at every allergen not in the list and saying, you can't be contained here. But what I should be doing is looking at every ingredient not in the list and saying, you definitely don't contain that allergen. All the allergens that are actually listed here. can't contain any of the ingredients that are not listed. Yes, this is what is wrong with update. So can I write this as a map over the input? I mean, I assume it's possible. But I think it would be simpler to... Yeah. So let's not map with key. We're gonna do like how do unions work in a map? I don't know if I actually want a union, but my thinking is I'll construct a new map. No, I want to just, I guess I want to update something. Yeah, I want to like fold L prime. Adjust. Yeah. Okay. So I'll construct a list of the ingredients that are not here. Okay, get all this out of here. Fold L M update with S difference of A's. Yeah, and I want a unary function here. Got it. To starting with M and not present, where not present is S2 list of S difference of ingredients I's. Okay, everything about this is wrong. Exciting. Why? I got my allergens and ingredients backwards. Good. I'm so glad. Oh, not update, but adjust. Okay, there's all these like, yeah, types are wrong somewhere, but where? This should be I's, shouldn't it? For each ingredient not listed, I want to update the information in the allergen map. No, wait a minute. Am I using the wrong data structure all along? I guess this is still wrong, right? I want to iterate because I don't have a map of ingredients to allergens. I have a map from allergens to ingredients, and so what I should be folding over is I should be folding over the allergens and having not present here, right? It's still just as wrong. Oops, there we go. A's is a list. That makes sense. So for each of the allergens listed here, what is... adjust. Oh, it wants a key, right? Right, adjust is a binary function. And it wants its key first and then the map. Do I have to flip this? Well, that got me somewhere. Got me most of the way there, in fact. I expected a set and I have a list. Well, yeah, fair enough. I actually should just leave it as a set. Okay. It might be nice to define this as a function. Mark missing. So this would be better done without a flip now, right? Mark missing. Yeah, redundant bracket, I know. Of we want an, I don't know. We have an allergen and a map, and it's adjust with this of A and M. I know it's going to tell me I should eta or M. There. So it's going to tell me something, right? Oh, M shadows? Yeah, who cares? Okay, so if I now run this on my test, do I get more reasonable results? We learned that A contains definitely A, C is definitely in C, D is in D, and therefore B is safe. And I remember that being the answer, right? We actually wrote it correctly this time. Yeah, okay. So A is in A, C is in C, D is in D, and B is safe because it's in the same list as A. Oh, well, we haven't actually made anything contain B, but that doesn't matter. The ingredient B is safe because there's a C and a D and an A, all of which don't contain B. Got it. So let's just have it now be num safe ingredients. Oh, actually, let's just run down the test first, right? The example test given in the puzzle. We concluded that KSCDS, Kifkidus, yeah. So we were supposed to have Kifkidus, Nchums, Subzf, and Church, and we got all of those. Okay, great. So now I think we can just say then that it is num safe ingredients. Yeah. 5. Uh-oh. Oh, right. I didn't update it to be the real input. 5 was the right answer, though. Input. $2,280. What did we put in before that was wrong? I don't know. I mean, I could try to scroll up, but it's like hours ago, right? So figuratively hours anyway. Okay, 2280. That's the right answer. Thank goodness, we're finally there. Oh, don't look, we're not doing part 2 yet. Sure, I'll leave the input in the test. I'll leave the test and debug inputs in as well, I guess. Day 21, part 1. Actually, was there anything I wanted to remove first? I guess I don't need lambda case or partial type signatures. Everything else seems fine. Alright, now you can look. What's part 2? Have enough information to figure out which ingredient contains which allergen. Arrange them alphabetically by their allergen and separate them by commas to produce your canonical dangerous input list. Okay. Alphabetically by allergen. So I think that we do not yet... We will have to do more work. Actually, maybe not. Maybe we have enough information. So let's say... Oh my gosh. We're going to need to either share a lot of work between part 1 and part 2 or do a lot of stuff over again. Let's just say I want to know potential causes. Tell me what do I in fact have a bunch of singleton lists, or do I have something more interesting? Yeah, okay. So it's not a singleton list, but it's pretty close, right? We just have to do like Sudoku on this probably, like we did in the train ticket punching thing. For example, we see that fish is definitely contained in Erdkust. There you go. And therefore we could remove Erdkust from something. So this is like very, very much like that previous one. I wonder how many allergens are there? Like, I don't know. My question is like, is there exactly one that has a single possible ingredient, and then there's one with 2 and one with 3 and so on, like there was before? Or do we have... Well, I can tell that's not true, because for example, both soy and wheat have 3 possible causes. But we can use the same approach. Find a single... Find some allergen that is pinned to a specific ingredient, and then remove that ingredient from everyone else's list and continue until you're done. Now, we could try to reuse some of the actual code from whatever previous day that was, go and find it, but I think what we're doing here is A, fairly simple, and B, somewhat different from what we were doing before. If nothing else, we have all these new type wrappers. So I think we can just write a pretty simple, like, we'll write a function that improves our constraints by finding any singletons and removing them from all the other lists. And we'll just iterate that until all of the possibilities are singletons. The first thing we need to do, though, is lift out a bunch of this stuff and so it can be shared by part 1 and part 2. Notably, we need like this. Potential causes. To be shared. It doesn't make sense for it to be part of the input, of course, even though it is shared by part 1 and part 2. It's not really input, right? So let's make potential causes into a top level function. First pass? I don't know. So it's actually, of course, going to be a function returning something and not, it takes a cuisine, basically. Like so? Yeah. And we can then just say it's equals first pass over C, cuisine, let's say. Binding for cuisine shadows the existing binding? What? What existing binding? Oh, I have a function here called cuisine. Okay, we'll call this make cuisine then. Seems fine. And what's wrong with allergens? It's defined but not used. Okay, fair enough. Great, so now we've got that. And we want to... Is the output of that everything that we need to do part 2? I think that it is. So we don't need any of the other stuff from part 1. Part 2 of cuisine equals... I don't know. Let links equal first pass cuisine. I'll probably have to put this into a where clause anyway. I don't know. But I don't know, for some reason, part 1, it felt better to write like from the top down, saying, here's what I expect as a result, and then kind of like saying, here's how to get that, here's how to get that. For some reason, this part 2 feels better to write in the other direction, saying, well, here's how to do something interesting, and eventually I'll turn that into the result that I want. So next we want to define a function, let's say Titan, is a function from this to this. Yeah, this really could use a type, couldn't it? Or a type alias. Actually, this could be an aware clause, even because it doesn't reference anything, right? It can just work on this. It doesn't need anything in its closure, which is sort of nice. So let's deal with Titan. Titan of M is to update all elements of M that are like not all okay. Let's say let resolved equal filter S singleton over the elms of M in, and now we want to I guess we want to make this into a set as well. S dot from list. Now we have a set of all already resolved allergens, and we want to map. Do I just need to F map here? If I F map, I'll have access to. No, I don't have a list of singleton ingredients. I have a list of. Yeah, I do. I have a list of all those ingredients that have already been nailed down to a specific allergen. And so, yeah, I can just Fmap over each entry in the map, and if it's a singleton, leave it alone. Yeah. Fmap update over M. Update eyes where S. Oh my gosh. I hit some button on my keyboard accidentally. It's the emoji keyboard? I don't want an emoji keyboard. Okay. Equals eyes, leave it alone. Otherwise, it's S difference of eyes and resolved. Forgot the otherwise equals part. I said it, but I didn't type it, and that's really what counts. Oh, singleton is not a. Okay, fine. I guess I need singleton here. Data set does not. Oh, it's size. Right. M.elms, thank you. What are you mad about update? For. Okay, let's give things more types. Update takes a set of ingredient and returns another set of ingredient. Okay, so this fmap was right. This is wrong. Ah, not s.fromList, but m concat. Got it. Why are you mad about this? Defined but not used? Oh, because Titan isn't used. Sure. So now I want to define something like finished or final to be the head the first element after dropping while not all is singleton elms, iterate tighten links. Yeah. And let's like give this a name. Pending is that. Pending. There you go. Now it all fits on one line. And so now I've got the list. Let's just return that and see if I got anything that looks reasonable. And then I can like alphabetize it or whatever I'm supposed to do. Looks pretty good, right? We got, yeah. Dairy is in this, eggs is in that, and so on. So how am I supposed to alphabetically arrange them? Arrange ingredients alphabetically by allergen. Oh, happily, that's what I already have because my map is sorted by key, which is the allergen. And separate them by commas. Okay. Easy enough. So I want to I always forget, I want to like map a function over the ingredients, the elms of this. So map. Do I want intersperse or intercalate? I always forget what the heck intersperse does exactly, even though it's the easy one to remember. Let's just ask Google. Intersperse takes a single A and a list of A, so it's not quite, well, is it? I have a string and a list of strings, right? And intercalate is like the same thing, but oh, intersperse would have given me a list of strings, but I just want the result flattened. So intercalate is just like flatten. Okay. It's like do intersperse, but then flatten the result. Okay. And we need intercalate from here. Well, this is each of them is a set, so actually we have get ingredient s dot min, find min, something like that. Find min, yeah. I don't really care if I get min or max, but there's only one element. All right, this looks good. Seems plausible. Those are dangerous. That's the right answer. Great. Okay, well here's our pretty little advent calendar. Amazing. And let's commit stuff. Anything I want to back out before I do my commit? I don't know. Looks good to me. It's a little bit tacky, maybe, to have allergen and... Oops, hang on. You guys... It looked good. We looked at the file. Don't worry about it. It was good. We could have... This is fine. We don't need it, but now they're more symmetrical. Okay. Day 21, part 2. Cool. Hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.